My poem Foreign is about a person who has left home to go to a foreign country where they do not fit in. The setting is described as gloomy to reinforce the hardships the speaker has faced. Not only does the setting describes a hardship the speaker has faced, but foreign people in general or immigrants. The target audience is someone who is indigenous to a place and fits in the society. Throughout the poem, the speaker wants the reader to know how someone who is foreign to a country would feel like, so the reader can thus sympathize with the speaker. To start off, the first stanza starts off with the word imagine, which lets the reader know that the speaker wants them to visualize what is about to happen in the poem. The setting is described as strange, dark, dismal dwellings. The use of imagery allows the reader to picture the scene as gloomy, and it sets the negative tone throughout the poem. In the first line of the stanza, the speaker says 20 years. And in the third line of the stanza, the speaker says on the landing, indicating that it's a flashback and the speaker is reflecting on their 20 years of past experiences. Although living in a place for 20 years, the place still appears as strange, and the person is still unwelcomed and they don't fit in. The speaker starts using an apostrophe starting in the third line of the first stanza when they say you. An apostrophe is used throughout the entirety of the poem because the speaker always refers to the reader as you, as if they were having a conversation with the reader. The apostrophe is present throughout the entirety of the play because the reader constantly refers to the reader. The speaker constantly refers to the reader. In the fourth line of the stanza, the speaker says, echo down the stairs. This reinforces the gloomy setting because the echo makes the setting sound empty and that the speaker is alone. The fifth line of the stanza, when the speaker says, you think in a language of your own and talk in theirs, thus reinforces the hardship the speaker's experiences and the struggles that the speaker has faced. This ties in with the title of the poem, Foreign, because the speaker is foreign and speaks another language. Moving on to stanza 2, the first line of the second stanza shows that the speaker is alone in the city, and they do not like, and they get emotional by the sound of their mother's voice as stated in line 3. In the fifth line of the stanza, alliteration is used, using the letter W, why your eyes are watering, and what's the word for this? This draws attention to the fact that the speaker is crying and also makes the reader feel emotional. The reader would thus sympathize with the speaker of the poem. In stanza 3, the first line of the third stanza, the speaker repeatedly uses periods to indicate a routine. The speaker says, you use a public transport, work, sleep. Imagine one night you saw a name for yourself sprayed in red. It shows the reader what the speaker's daily routine is, and there isn't anything exciting happening. In the lines 3 to 5, the speaker uses an epithet, a descriptive literary device that is used to reinforce the speaker is somewhere where they do not belong. By using words like hate in line 3, it shows that the speaker feels alone or they do not fit in. They feel as if no one likes them, and this is due to them being foreign. This whole stanza is also used as a term of abuse because it represents cultural exclusion. We can make this assumption when the speaker says, imagine one night you saw a name for yourself sprayed in red against a brick wall. A hate name. Red like blood. It is snowing on the streets under the neon lights. This shows cultural exclusion and how the speaker's culture and language is viewed as unwelcomed and not appreciated. Moving on to the last stanza of the poem. This whole stanza describes a speaker and hardships of speaking English, which is not their native language. A delicatessen is a delicatessen is a restaurant where they sell ready-to-eat food products. The first two lines reinforces the fifth line of the first stanza when the speaker says you have to think in your own language and talk in theirs. In the fourth stanza, the speaker says, in the delicatessen from time to time, the coin in your palms will not translate. And in the very first stanza, the last line, it says you think in a language of your own and talk in theirs. In the last stanza, line 1, the speaker is at a delicatessen and they literally want to buy something, but the action of describing what they want is hard because they have to figure out what to say in their own language and then translate it. The speaker then reverts to the fruits, which is something simple and doesn't really need much description. Without describing that they want the fruits, they just pointed at them. An easy task. The scene is intensified and shown as difficult when the speaker uses the word inarticulate in line 2. The last 2 lines refers to something that a foreign person would say if they didn't know how to describe something. The speaker says, "Me not know what these people mean. It like they only go to bed and dream." These 2 lines aren't grammatically correct, showing that the speaker or a foreign person would likely say this, and by asking the readers to imagine what it's like to say this, it kind of shows sympathy and emotion. And this thus supports the first 3 lines of the last stanza, because this is the actual act of describing what you want. The last 2 words, imagine that, is very powerful because it ties the whole poem together. Throughout the whole poem, the speaker uses imagine multiple times, and the word you, and this refers to an apostrophe because the speaker is talking to the reader or the target audience. Throughout the poem, the speaker wants the audience to feel what the speaker is feeling, or any foreign person, and the speaker does this by putting the reader in their shoes. By describing all the hardships and everything that seems difficult to them, the reader can thus sympathize with the speaker. This shows that there's a connection between the reader and the speaker, making it easy for the readers to sympathize with the speakers and foreign people.